Hey, I'm back. I know I haven't done one in a while, so I thought today I'd do an album review, and today I'm gonna do We Like It Here by Snarky Puppy. So Snarky Puppy is, I'm gonna call them a fusion band, a jazz fusion band. They kind of mix lots of things together, like a little bit of rock here, lots of funk, a bit of jazz, and maybe some other things like R&B or gospel, etc. in there. But overall, I like to think of it as fusion. And to be honest, I'm not super familiar with Snarky Puppy, but people recommended them to me, and I thought, I'll check this out. And so I checked this one out, and it's a live album. I believe it came out in 2014. I'm not sure about that. I might have to check that out. But it's a good album. I liked it, and it's a fusion album. But I know like fusion comprises such a large amount of different genres. It's probably better if I'm more specific. This album is more of like the jam band groove type of fusion as opposed to the like crazy soloing fusion or the complex harmony, like crazy time signature fusion. Although all those things are present, I think this really focuses more on like the groove of things. And I think that's the good part or the bad part. For me personally, I like more of the more complex fusion with the crazy time signatures and more over-the-top solos. And this does have this in small parts, but it's mostly based upon a groove. So if you like things that are more like funk-based and have that kind of feel to them, I think you'll really like this. What I do like is they have like the keyboard parts, and the keyboard parts are really good. I like the keyboard player and how they put the grooves together. I think the bass and the drums also sound good. Most of the songs have a good groove to them, so it's easy to listen to. It's not like the complex fusion where sometimes it's like, this is too much. This is good background music, and I think for me that's the good thing and the bad thing. The good thing is I can just kind of put this on and listen to it while I'm doing something else. The bad part is I don't know if I'd want to listen to this just by itself. It feels like it just needs a little bit more in some points. The keyboard playing I think is very good. The keyboard player uses lots of different sounds, so it's not just all piano or all organ. He mixes it up with different like synthesizers and electric pianos and pianos, etc., which I really like. It gives each song kind of like a unique texture because it's not the same song over and over again. Also, the guitar. I really like how the guitar player, I don't know who it is. I looked on the Wikipedia to see who's the guitar player, but I don't see it. I'm trying to find that out. If you know who played guitar on this album, let me know. It looks like there's 3 guitar players in Snarky Puppy, but Anyway, whoever did it, I liked how they used the effects. I think that's another like really cool thing about this, is the guitar player had more of like a textural thing going on. It reminded me of like Oz Noy, so like it had that kind of vibe, where he wasn't really like playing a bunch of like fast notes and things like that, but just more creating a texture and also using lots of interesting effects, which I think is more how I see this album. That's why I said it's almost like a jam band. It's like a really complex, smart jam band, I would say. And I think that's one of the great things about it. My favorite was the second track, and the second track kind of reminded me of like the 80s fusion, like Frank Gambale or maybe even older, like Mahavishnu Orchestra. And I like that type of fusion, so I like that one. But I thought all the tracks were good for the most part, and only thing I'd say is I'd like to see a little bit more complexity in it, but I know not everybody likes that. So if you want something more like laid back and something that's like easier to listen to without being smooth jazz, this isn't smooth jazz. So don't worry if you're thinking like that. Oh, it's gonna be like Kenny G. It's not like Kenny G. It's not that, but it does have a nice groove to it. It has nice solos to it. I like the horns in there. For me, I'm not such a huge horn fan, so I don't want them all the time. But in here, I think it was just enough. And I think everything went together really well. I want to check out more of their albums because this is a live album, and sometimes the live albums aren't really indicative of the studio albums, depending on the band. So I want to check them out more. But I enjoyed this album. I'm not going to say this is my favorite album or this is the best album, but I liked it. So definitely check this out if you haven't, and I'll probably be checking out some more Snarky Puppy in the future. If you have something you want me to review, leave that down below. Also, if you have any questions about live streams, I'm planning to do more of those. So if you have a question and you want me to answer it, leave that down below. But until then, see you.